Every tradie in this country has been told the same thing since he was old enough to hold a spanner. Buy a HiLux, it'll never let you down. And for years, that was just about the smartest advice going. But walk into any country workshop, ask the bloke on the hoist what he'd actually buy with his own hard-earned. And a lot of us won't say HiLux. I'm Bo. I'm 53. I've had grease under my fingernails my whole working life, and I've got nothing to sell you. But I'm about to tell you something the salesman in the shiny shirt will never say out loud. There are 7 used Utes on Australian roads right now that the trade trusts more than a brand new HiLux. They go just as far and cost less to fix while they do it. Some of them you've written off in your head already, and that's exactly the mistake that's costing Aussie families a fortune. By the end of this, you'll know the one Ute that nearly every mechanic I know would spend their own money on. Stick with me. Let's start with the elephant in the workshop, the HiLux. Now, I rate the HiLux. I've had more of them through my bays than I could count, and most earn their reputation. But popularity and trouble-free are not the same thing, and that's where people get caught out. The HiLux dominates fleet buying across mining, agriculture, and construction. Everybody buys one because everybody buys one. And here's the part the badge faithful don't want to hear. Between 2015 and 2020, Toyota sold around 264,000 HiLux, Prado, and Fortuners in this country, fitted with a diesel particulate filter that the Federal Court of Australia later found was defective. It clogged up, robbed the engine of power, and blew white smoke down the street, and we're talking about 250,000 vehicles here, from the brand whose entire name is built on never breaking down. Then there's what I call the Toyota tax. You pay more to drive it off the lot, and you keep paying more every time it needs parts or a service, just for the privilege of the badge on the bonnet. So the question isn't, is the HiLux good? It is good. The question is, are you paying premium money out of habit when something cheaper will do the same job and last just as long? Because it will. Let me show you. Coming in at number 7, the Mitsubishi Triton. Here's the thing nobody talks about, and that's exactly why it's a bargain. A previous generation Triton bought used right now is genuinely cheap because the market underrates it. The 4N15 diesel, when it's looked after, is one of the more durable small diesels in the whole segment, and it's built the way I like things built. Mechanically conservative. No dodgy dual-clutch automatics. No electronic gimmicks waiting to bankrupt you the day after the warranty runs out. And don't forget the bloodline, the old 3. 2-litre Pajero diesel is one of the genuinely great Australian touring engines. I've watched them sail past 300,000 km out in the bush, towing vans, and just keep going. That knowledge didn't vanish. Mitsubishi still knows how to build a diesel that lasts. The dealer network's strong out in regional and rural areas too, which matters when you're 3 hours from the nearest city. Owners regularly report 350,000 to 400,000 km still working cattle stations and delivery routes. For the money, that's smart buying. Number 6, the Nissan Navara. And this one comes with a warning, so listen carefully. Nissan did something brave. They put coil springs in the rear of a work ute for a smoother ride. Lovely idea. The problem was the early dual cabs had rear coils that were underrated, and when blokes loaded them up, the back end sagged under a decent load. Not what you want on a ute that's supposed to carry weight. But to Nissan's credit, they owned it. They re-engineered the rear with dual-rate coils from 2018. So here's your lesson, and it's the whole secret to buying used. Buy a post-2018 Navara, and you've got a comfortable, capable ute with a mechanically proven drivetrain. Buy the wrong year, and you've got a load carrier that struggles to carry a load. Same badge, completely different outcome. This is the one that rewards the buyer who does his homework and punishes the one who doesn't. Number 5, the Mazda BT50. Here's the bit most people don't connect. The BT50 shares its entire mechanical foundation with the Isuzu D-Max. Same robust 3-litre turbo diesel, same conventional 6-speed auto, same proven ladder frame chassis. What Mazda adds on top is a nicer cabin and a slightly more refined ride, but underneath, it's the same bulletproof workhorse. And because it can be serviced by any competent diesel mechanic anywhere in the country, you're never held hostage. Owners report identical longevity to the D-Max, 350 to 400,000 km on the original drivetrain. Here's the kicker for used buyers. The BT50 is often cheaper secondhand than the equivalent D-Max, for the exact same bones underneath. If the styling suits you, you're not making a compromise. You're getting the same engineering for less money. That's just maths. Number 4, the Volkswagen Amarok. I know, hear me out. Most people pay the premium Volkswagen price brand new without realizing what they're actually buying. Underneath, the current Amarok is a Ford Ranger. Same engine, same gearbox, built right alongside it. New, that VW badge cost you a fortune, but used, that premium has completely evaporated, and you get proven Ranger mechanicals for thousands less than they cost off the lot. The V6 diesel is a genuinely strong, smooth touring engine. Now I'll be straight with you, because I always am. The catch is that VW servicing and parts cost more than the equivalent Ranger, so you've got to factor running costs into your sum before you sign. But buy one right, and you've got Ranger durability with an Amarok discount. That's a clever used buy that most people walk straight past. Quick favour before we get to the top 3, because this is where the real legends sit. If a bloke with no dealership behind him and nothing to sell is worth a second of your time, tap that subscribe button. It genuinely helps me push this honest homework to other Aussies before they sign the wrong contract. Cheers, on we go. Number 3, Kia. And before you switch off, your old man's information is about 20 years out of date. The Kia your father called disposable Korean rubbish doesn't exist anymore. The modern one ships with a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, 7 years of capped price servicing, and 7 years of roadside assist. Buy a used one, and it'll often still have years of that factory cover left on it, transferred to you. Think about what that's actually telling you. Kia is so confident the thing won't break that they'll cover it years longer than the brand that built its whole name on reliability. And when something does need doing, there's no Toyota tax. It's cheaper to buy. The panels are cheaper. The parts are cheaper. The labor's straightforward. I'll give you the honest other side, because I owe you that. The early small turbo petrols had their teething problems, so I'd steer you toward the naturally aspirated petrols and the diesels. They're the solid ones through my workshop. A properly serviced used Kia will go the distance at roughly half the running cost of a Toyota. That's not a gamble anymore. That's just smart money. Number 2, Suzuki. Suzuki tops survey after survey, year after year, and almost nobody talks about it. Here's why it works, and it's the oldest trick in engineering. Suzuki doesn't ask its engines to do very much. A Swift, a Jimny, a Vitara, they're light. The engines are small, simple, and understressed. They're not strangled with a dozen complicated emission systems all waiting their turn to fail. Less weight, less stress, less to go wrong. That's the whole secret. I've got customers who've put 200,000, 300,000 km on a little Suzuki doing nothing but oil and filters. The parts are cheap as chips, and you can work on the thing in your own shed. Now, I won't pretend it'll tow your boat or haul a ton of gravel, because it won't. That's not what it's for. But if you want a cheap second runabout that simply starts every single morning for 15 years and barely costs you a cent in between, nothing 3 times its price will embarrass it. And topping the list at number 1, the one nearly every mechanic I know would buy with their own money. Isuzu, the D-Max and the MUX. Ask any mechanic in this country quietly, off the record, which ute they'd actually own with their own hard-earned, and a lot of us say the same word. Isuzu. And here's the thing people don't connect. Isuzu builds truck engines. That's the heritage. Proper commercial diesels designed to do 1 million kilometers in a delivery truck without complaining. The diesel in a D-Max or an MUX comes from that same world. It's understressed. It's simple. It doesn't try to be clever. And in my trade, simple is just another word for reliable. Go and ask the grey nomad crowd, the touring fraternity, the people who actually drive to the dead center of this country and back towing 3 tons the whole way, what they trust. It's full of Isuzus that have done 300,000, 400,000 km without ever having the engine cracked open. I'll give you the honest other side too. There were reports of cracking near the front suspension towers on some of the current D-Maxes, so if you're buying used, get it up on a hoist and have someone look underneath properly first. And the modern safety assist tech beeps at you like an angry smoke alarm. But the bones of the thing, the engine, the driveline, the honest engineering, that is as close to the old Toyota reputation as anything being built today for less money. Now, before the Toyota faithful melt the comments, let me give Toyota its due, because a fair go runs both ways. The HiLux still wins 3 things, and they're not small. 1, resale. Nothing on earth holds its money like a Toyota. You'll pay more up front, but you'll get more back when you sell, and sometimes that makes the dearer truck the cheaper one to actually own over 5 years. Do that sum honestly. 2, parts everywhere. You can break down at the most remote roadhouse in the country and someone can still get a Toyota part to you. 1,000 kilometers from a city, that network is a genuine reliability feature. And 3, on the DPF saga, the post-2020 builds had it sorted. Toyota extended warranties, fitted manual regeneration buttons, and the engine underneath was never junk. It was a filter set up badly, and they fixed it. So I'm not telling you to never buy a HiLux. I'm telling you to stop buying one on autopilot, eyes shut, just because of the badge. Because the moment you do that, you stop checking the maths. And that, in my experience, is exactly how good people get caught out. So there it is. 7 used Utes the Trade Trusts. The Triton, the Navara, the BT50, the Amarok, the Kia, the Suzuki, and the one I'd buy myself, the Isuzu. Every one of them goes the distance right alongside the HiLux everyone told you to buy, and leaves thousands in your pocket on the way through. None of these are underdogs because they're badly built. They win on the maths. Purchase price, running cost, parts, and honest engineering. Buy the Ute that suits the job. Look after it the way you'd look after a good dog, and it'll look after you. That's the whole game. Now I want to hear from you, because you lot always know things I don't. What's the highest kilometre Ute you've ever owned, and what badge was on the bonnet? Drop it in the comments. I read them. And fair warning, I'll argue with a few of you. If a mechanic telling you the truth with nothing to sell is worth something to you, you know what to do with that subscribe button. I'm Bo. Buy the maths, not the badge.